Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Come on!
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Saturday's Q&A day. If you're new to the podcast, listening on Facebook, we study the Srimad Bhagavatam every day. You can either listen I guess you can't listen on Facebook every day because we don't put it on Facebook every day. But you can get it wherever you get podcasts or YouTube. Just search Wisdom of the Sages. And we got a lot of episodes. We got thousands. Or what, do we have thousands? Or do we just have...
Yeah, we have 1,180.
We have over 1,000.
All right, that's over 1,000. It's not thousands, but that would be intimidating.
Well over 1,000.
Well over 1,000. And I'm here in upstate New York at Super Soul Farm. Kastuba is in Mayapur, India. He's chilling out there for 5 months on a creative seclusion retreat. And once a week we do Q&A day. Today's that day. It's Sleeping Saturday. We do this at 8 in the morning. If you want to listen to this on Zoom, it's sort of fun. Most of our listeners do not, but there is a handful in this exclusive club. Just email Miss Mara, wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com. Kastuba, a big realization I have. Can I share?
Yeah. Sure.
Kirtan is so important. Sound vibration changes our consciousness. Japa, very important, changes our consciousness. All of it has to be partaken in. If you like, a lot of people like kirtan. It's bigger than ever right now. And japa, those who are getting serious about their spiritual life, they get into japa. It all has to be done with study of sacred literature as well. You get exponentially more out of it if you know what you're doing than just walking into, oh, this is a nice cultural song.
Yeah.
And that's why we have the wisdom training that has tons of kirtan going on, but we study sacred literature. Kastuba's teaching, Doyle Garunga is teaching, I'm teaching, and Radhanath Swami is going to be there a lot this whole time.
You know what? I think a special series of talks that Radhanath Swami, they're being recorded of Radhanath Swami, and I think we'll be there for that. Like he'll be doing it live for we'll be the audience, like
That's
in the
awesome.
evenings. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
For Vani, Vani is going to put that together, I think.
Well,
cool, right?
We're very excited. And putting out there, if you're interested in joining us in India, that is January 14th through the 26th, and then the next day is the Flower Festival. And so it's a great way to get away.
2 months away.
It's exciting. And go to wisdomofthesages.com. Check it out. Try to keep the prices reasonable so everybody can come. But it's important.
Come to Mayapur.
It's modeled after when me and Kastuba used to go to India when we were young. We used to go there and study for a month. They had all these courses set up.
Yeah.
This is what we're trying to do here.
I was going to say, because we wanted to, Raghunath and I felt that we used to go to India every year and study. There's a whole study system set up, and the combination of the yearly study combined with the yearly immersion and coming to India and meeting people and seeing places and the immersion in the culture, that's that steady continued returning to it was important. And that's why we tried to make this really affordable for people, that it's a donation basis. You know, we ask people pay the base fee that just covers expenses. Then you give a donation on top of that. It gives people the opportunity to keep coming back.
Yeah, which is what we want. We don't want people just like, okay, I cross that off my bucket list. We want regular people to come every year and just like, what a way to start your new year. You know, really dive deep in the immersion of the community, the kirtan, the saintly people, good people, great food, beautiful place, and then go back and face, you know, slay dragons in your world, and you know, be your best person and inspire from within.
That's a new
from
one.
within. Slay dragons. You like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
All right, so let's get into Q&A day. But first, Miss Mara, any announcements there, Miss Mara?
Yes, we have shloka memorization with Nityananda Chandra at 10 a.m. today, Eastern time. And then we have back to your,
Very good.
Back to your recovery group meetings today at 9:30 a.m., 11 a.m., and 12:30 Eastern time.
Wow. We got a community, people. Somehow, big community formed. It's exciting. It's an exciting time to practice Bhakti Yoga. You ready to dive in, Mr. K?
Yeah.
Special K?
I'm down.
That's my pet name for him, Special K.
All right.
Do you remember that cereal?
Yes.
They pitched it as like a health food cereal. It was like Rice Krispies. Special K.
No,
what?
Special K was like
what are you talking
flakes.
about? How was
I
that
think it was
special? That was like health food in the 70s.
All right.
Special K.
I think
You're
that
Special K.
Kellogg. I think that Kellogg guy was like he was like a vegetarian, and he was trying. I think that he had some good thing going on.
No, he did. He was like a health food guy from somewhere in Michigan.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Anyway,
do you want to read this first question, or would you like me to read it?
I'll read it. Oh, it's
Speaking
from
of
our good friend Kim.
Yeah, Kim from Rhode Island.
I've known Kim for years.
This question arose out of the Nityananda Chandra Sage group, which Kim is a member of.
Okay.
Hello,
Raghunath, Kostuba, and Mara. I know in Kali-yuga, suffering is to be expected. Mm-hmm. But I feel as if in the last year or two, the amount of an intensity of suffering has skyrocketed. Since my job involves personal interactions with clients and their families, I hear daily stories of unimaginable struggles with illness, accidents, stress, anxiety, and family dynamics.
Sounds like Kim has one of those jobs where you're right in the middle of all that, huh? It'll wear you down.
Yeah. My Bhakti practice has given me so many tools to help me stay equipoised when speaking with these clients and hopefully offer some level of support to them. But some days it just seems endless, and I find it hard to stay hopeful about the state of our society.
Yeah, we got to work on that.
Yeah. I do have faith that as the practice of Bhakti continues to spread, more people will be able to move through this world with a peaceful mind. However, these feelings raised the following questions for me. How does our Bhakti practice influence the greater good in this age of Kali? What do the scriptures say about the duration of Kali-yuga? Is it just something that we must endure while staying focused on our own spiritual practice? Or is it possible that conflict will diminish as the tradition spreads? Thank you so much for considering my question. I look forward to your thoughtful answers. Your service, Kim. Kim's a really sincere practitioner. Been a yoga student and then dove deeper into the spiritual philosophy of yoga. She's incredible. And then she got very serious about her spiritual practice of yoga, and she shines and she leads by example. And
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I did some research on this question, Raghunath.
Ooh.
But why don't you? Maybe what we could do like this. Maybe a lot of listeners may not really know what she's talking about when she says Kali-yuga. Would you like to just share something briefly about that?
There is a Vedic concept of time, and it moves in massive seasons, just like we experience winter, spring, summer, fall. So the time is also spread over millennia, and there's spring season, so to speak, summer seasons, and then there's the very cold winter season, which we're about to enter into now here in upstate New York, but also in Kali-yuga. We're at the precipice of Kali-yuga, and Kali-yuga is it's where spiritual life is sort of minimized, it's misconstrued, it's pushed to the back of the burner. It's a more materialistic society. And so therefore, so she's pointing out, she understands this term, therefore she's pointing out like things seem crazier than ever. I'd just like to add in that, Kali-yuga has always been a little crazy. We just might not have known about everything. Now that there's internet, I can find out where crazy is going on. I can just Google different places, and news is international. Imagine before there was news, television, radio. It's like there was chaos and wars and crime and horrific things happening. We just didn't know about it. We lived in our village. So it could be, I think, because we have information, the information that we're hearing is, wow, there's a lot of hell out there. And that causes a lot of these other things, stress, anxiety,
which increases the whole thing too.
Increases the whole thing. And then, of course, there's crazy algorithms pushing us to extremes as well. And it's just like, you can't turn on that news without letting hate arise in the heart. And this is a problem when our healers are getting affected by the disease. So we have to be a little bit above that before we dip into these dangerous waters of of social media, etc. We have to be really prepared every morning before we dive into anything with our own spiritual, what is that, like a cloak, our armor, a cloak, a safety cloak. And our safety cloak is a strong spiritual sadhana, where we understand we are spiritual beings in the material world, expect the seasons to change, expect it to get very, very cold, very, very hot, very, very chaotic, very, very wonderful. And so we have to go in, and our spiritual sadhana is just that. And then from that vantage point, we can go out, slay the dragons of this, material world. Where does the
slay the dragon things come along today? Where did that come from?
Slay the dragons.
All right.
Slay the dragon, bad dragons out there.
That's the second time you said it today.
Yeah.
Slay the dragon. Okay.
So yeah, and also, even when the time we were going up, I was thinking, like, what finances are a big part of people's stress and anxiety. No one was really that in debt when we were younger, right? No one had credit cards.
No, the
My
economy
parents
is
never had
actually
credit
much
cards.
worse. Yeah, it was easier to buy a home. It was easier to buy a car. Everything was easier.
Everything's a little easier. Everybody's in debt. We're sold things we don't need.
Brutal.
Yeah.
More stress. And as you mentioned, not only is the 24-hour news cycle, the internet, the social media, constant streams running, not only do they inform us more about all of the pain and the suffering and the quarrel in the world, the conflict in the world, but they also perpetuate it, So it gets nasty, and I think people are feeling it, and I think that's where Kim's coming from. Now, I got some good news for Kim.
You got good news?
Yeah, she has 3 questions about this age that we're living in, this age of Kali. How does our Bhakti practice influence the greater good in this age of Kali? That's one question. Mm-hmm. What do the scriptures, ancient texts, what do they say? Prophecies, Raghunath, prophecies. What do the scriptures say about the duration of the Kali-yuga? How long does it go on? And is it just something that we must endure while staying focused on our own spiritual practice? Mm-hmm. But like, do we just buckle down and try to get through it? Or is it possible that the conflict will diminish as the tradition spreads? Can we actually do something to counter it? All 3 of those questions are going to be answered in the stuff that I start to read.
Ooh, okay. I'm excited.
I'm pulling up stuff from Prabhupada that he wrote. I'm pulling up stuff from the different ancient Puranas speak about, that have their prophecies.
Like what Puranas?
The Bhavishya Purana, and the Bhavishya Purana. Bhavishya actually means future, so it implies that it's a work that's containing prophecies for the future. Okay. There's the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. We're going to also hear from going back. Nam Alwar scholars will say he lived like in, I don't know, something like the 3rd century or something like that. But like in the tradition, it's believed that he goes back 5,000 years. And we're gonna hear from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who was living in the 19th century, and his prophecies and so on. What was
Okay,
to come.
Swami, I'm on the edge of my seat for this now.
Let's start with Srila Prabhupada, and to start Kim's answer of, it's said that Sri Chaitanya, who appeared, that Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya, inaugurated the Sankirtan, the dharma for this age, which was the chanting of the Mahamantra in Kirtan. That his appearance ushered in. He appeared roughly 4,500 years into the Kali-yuga, which began 5,000 years ago. But they say that his appearance ushered in a 10,000 year period of Sankirtan, of a type of nice, beautiful age. And so we can read a bit about that here. Let's see, I'm sure Prabhupada. He writes this. This is in the purport to the Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, 5th chapter, text 23. In the commentary, he writes, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, he ushered in the era for the Sankirtan movement. It is also said that for 10,000 years this era will continue. This means that simply by accepting the Sankirtan movement, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the fallen souls of this Kali-yuga will be delivered. After the battle of Kurukshetra, at which the Bhagavad Gita was spoken, Kali-yuga continues for so you wanted the duration, for 432,000 years. That's
not so bad.
That's a bit of a stretch. Of which only 5,000 have passed. So we've gone through 5,000 of the 432,000.
We are just like on the top of the mountain. This thing goes really deep.
He says, thus there's still a balance of 427,000 years to come. Of these 427,000 years, the 10,000 years of the Sankirtan movement inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago provide the opportunity for the fallen souls of Kali-yuga to take to the Krishna consciousness movement, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and thus be delivered from the clutches of material existence and return back home, back to Godhead. So the picture that's drawn for us, and it's going to be drawn from, now I'm going to go back to the ancient text where Srila Prabhupada is deriving that from, is that yes, we're in the Kali Yuga, and yes, it's slowly building up. I mean, slowly, it's building up momentum. This age of quarrel, this constant conflict, this bitterness, this dullness, this lack of, an age where we have disturbed minds and so on. That's already, it's building up momentum. And you may look and say, well, 500 years ago, Sri Chaitanya came. It doesn't seem to have set in yet, but it's just setting in right now. It's kind of like the idea is that, yes, Kali Yuga is moving forward, and in one sense, it's manifesting more powerfully. But it's just this is gonna grow. The Sankirtan movement is going to grow, and it's going to have a good 10,000 year stretch.
That's good.
And so here's something from the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Oh, this is a beautiful thing. You're going to like this because it's Ganga speaking. This period of 10,000 years is mentioned in the prophecies of the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. In the 129th chapter of part 4, there is a conversation between Krishna and Mother Ganga, the Ganges River, right? Ganga. The Lord is returning to his abode. So that's when, he had been here, and then he was going to go back. And Mother Ganga is raising her concerns. Ganga says, O protector, supreme enjoyer, on your departure for the perfect abode, Goloka, right, in the spiritual realm, thereafter, what will be my situation in the age of Kali? Blessed Lord Krishna said, on the earth, 5,000 years of Kali will be sinful, and sinners will deposit their sins in you by bathing. All that bad karma going around, right? Thereafter, and then listen to this. Thereafter, by the sight and touch of those who worship me by my mantra, Maha Mantra, right? All those sins, all that bad karma will be burnt. There will be chanting of the name of Hari and reading of the Bhagavad Purana. Reaching such a place, attentively hear. This is talking about our wisdom of the sages, right? Like, and then after 5,000 years, there's going to be like this podcast where they're reading like Bhagavatam.
Wouldn't it be cool
right?
if we found ourselves in a prediction?
Well, we did. I mean, not just us, but anybody that's reading Bhagavad Purana. But this is the biggest group of people that are reading it that I know of.
It's
Um,
pretty inspiring.
yeah. So we're doing a good thing. We're by getting together every day. We're doing exactly what was predicted by Krishna in this Brahma Vaivarta Purana thousands.
Good
thousands of
job,
years ago.
Zoomers. Good job, others.
Thank you,
Good job,
Zoomers. Good.
Facebook people.
Yes. Thank you, all of you. So again, there will be chanting of the name of Hari and reading of the Bhagavad Purana. Reaching such a place, attentively hear. Bad karma, including the killing of a Brahmana, can be nullified by hearing the Purana and chanting the names of Hari in the manner of devotees. Just as dry grass is burnt by fire, by the embrace of my devotees, all sins are burnt. O Ganga.
I've never killed a Brahmin, as far as I know.
In this life.
But yeah, thank you. In this life, yes. But
last life.
I've done other sinful things, so that is good to know.
Okay. O Ganges, the whole planet will become a pilgrimage site by the presence of my devotees, even though it had been sinful. And the body of my devotees remains eternally the purifier. Mother Earth becomes pure by the dust of the feet of my devotees. It will be the same in the case of pilgrimage sites of the whole world. Those intelligent worshippers of my mantra who partake my remnants will purify everything.
This is incredible, isn't it?
This is great. So they are more dear to me than my life. He's saying in this age of Kali, if you read Bhagavatam and if you do kirtan, that you're more dear to Krishna than his own life, right? They are more dear to me than my own life, who every day meditate on me. The air and fire become pure simply by their indirect touch. For 10,000 years of Kali, such devotees of mine will fill the whole planet. After the departure of my devotees, there will only be one Varna. Like, in other words, just there's nothing. Nobody's got any qualification.
That's what I'm scared of.
You don't want to be around after that 10,000. Okay, don't play with that.
It might be just like an ice age or something where everyone's just frozen.
No, Prabhupada describes it as really dark.
It's real dark.
Devoid of my devotees, the earth will be shackled by Kali. Saying this, Krishna departed. How about that?
Wow. It's amazing how, and it's really true, and we believe this, and it makes sense that when people are practicing spiritual life, when people are having kirtan, having harikatha, means like speaking and talking about spiritual matters. It could be anywhere. It could be on the street. You're sitting down having a kirtan. It could be in a temple. It could be in a yoga studio, or you could just have friends coming over your house where you're reading together. You're making that home a temple. You're making that a holy place. You're making that yoga studio a holy place. A lot of people are yoga teachers here, and they chant and they're calling out to Krishna. They're making that yoga studio, even if it's some crummy studio in a crummy strip mall in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Sorry, Scranton. But
sorry, Scranton.
But my point is that
making
it
into a place of pilgrimage. Yeah.
And people who just walk in off the street randomly, they feel the presence of that holy place, because places have their Vastu Shakti, their potency when you go into there. And that's happening all over the world. And we're witnessing it.
Well, listen, and I'll tell you something. This is something you and I have been talking about amongst ourselves, Raghunath. But that you and I kind of like feeling the need to speak to the idea that let's understand who Srila Prabhupada really is. It's like, let's not relativize him. There are thousands of wonderful, deep Vaishnavas, no question, we bow our heads to them all. But when it comes to understanding how to practice and how to follow, we look to Srila Prabhupada as preeminent. And why? Because he's the one that is fulfilling this prophecy. This goes back thousands of years, and he, it's unquestionable. He's self-effulgent in that sense. Now, listen to this. This is from the Bhavishya Purana. And what we're about to read was within the past half century accomplished by Srila Prabhupada. It was he on his own broke out and made this happen, right? So the Bhavishya Purana, in the Bhavishya Purana, chapter 20, text 70 through 73. There is another interesting prediction. This one is spoken by Lord Jagannath himself. Yeah, Lord Jagannath, Krishna, the Supreme Lord Hari himself spoke these attractive words for the welfare of all. The mlechas, meaning,
Jack.
Yeah, the mlecha, it means the meat eaters and just like the people that just have no spiritual culture.
They're just uncivilized
Uncivilized. That's okay.
beings.
The mlechas who are born from mixed countries, ruled by the descendants of Kasyapa, the demons, and the Shudras, they will become brahmanas by initiation.
Ooh.
They will wear shikas, Brahmin threads, and will be well versed in the uncontaminated fruit of the Vedas, the Srimad Bhagavatam.
That's amazing.
They will worship me by the yagna prescribed by the Lord of Lords, the protector of Sachi, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which the yagna prescribed by Sri Chaitanya is the chanting of the Mahamantra. Right? This is all predicted thousands of years ago. Now listen to this. This is coming. This is coming now. Again, in the tradition, they believe Nam Alvar goes back like 5,000 years. And he's from another lineage. He's not from Sri Chaitanya's lineage, but he has this to say. About 5,000 years ago, at the beginning of the Kali-yuga, Nam Alvar. Now, the Alvars, I think literally the word Alvar means like those who go deep, right? And it refers to 12 different figures in this that go back in the Sri Sampradaya, right? A beautiful Vaishnava Bhakti yoga lineage. But they go back. There are these poets, like they're these mystic poets. And Nam Alvar, I think, he's practically the most. His writings and so on, I think, are among the most popular amongst those 12. He's a huge figure in South India. So about 5,000 years ago, at the beginning of the Kali-yuga, Nam Alvar, one of the 12 great Vaishnava saints of the Sri Sampradaya, predicted the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the spread of the Sankirtan movement, around the globe. In his work, the Tiruvaimoli. These predictions are explained in detail in a book called A Divine Prophecy. Okay. Here he goes. Here's what he writes. All glories, all glories. All glories to the devotees of the Lord. All the inauspiciousness and curses of the living entities are destroyed. No one is going to hell. Yamaraj has no work anymore, and the ill effects of Kali-yuga have ceased to exist. Wow. I behold something wonderful. All over the world, an increasing number of devotees of, and this is a South Indian term, Kadalvanan, which means the bluish-black complexion, Lord Krishna, right? I behold something wonderful. All over the world, an increasing number of devotees of Krishna sing his names while dancing and playing musical instruments. I behold, this is his vision, right? I behold the visions that are sweet to the eyes, O devotees. Please come and join these enthusiastic devotees. Standing in joy with arms raised, they're worshiping Lord Madhava, Krishna, who wears a tulsi garland surrounded by intoxicated bees drinking its nectar. Roaming all over the earth, they chant and sing in sweet mellow the glories of the names of Lord Krishna and dance with raised arms in jubilation. The ill effects of Kali have ceased, and a new golden age of Sankirtan Yagna has begun. The demigods have also joined the movement, and the whole world is flooded with love of Godhead. The devotees of Krishna have entered and occupied every corner of the earth and are singing the name, fame, and glories of the Lord with great joy and enchantment. That's the Tiruvaimali 5:1-3. Now, very cool, this is written in an age centuries and centuries before Prabhupada did this, and it's from another lineage. But he has this vision that all around the world, people, and when it was only in India, right?
Right.
Even there was no Sri Chaitanya at that point, and no Mahamantra, inaugurated kind of Sankirtan Yagna, but he was seeing the whole thing. Incredible. Now, more? You want some more, Raghunath?
Yeah, I like this stuff. I find it fascinating too.
Give me some hope.
Right? I like this. It's fascinating. And we see it too. People are shocked when we come to India and we do kirtan, and we sit down in public places, do kirtan, and then we talk about Bhagavad Gita to people, and we start quoting Sanskrit, and Indians themselves are like, man, you know more about this stuff than my own family does. Yeah. And all these prophecies are coming true. Yep. It's not a religion for India. It's spiritual truth made for everybody, because everybody's a spiritual being.
You know, when I read this, I think like some of these misdirected accusations of cultural appropriation. No, this is what they want.
Doesn't make any sense.
This is what the tradition wanted. They wanted it to go all over, and for people to wear shikas, wear Brahmin threads, chant Hare Krishna, play the instruments, dance in the street. That's within the tradition. It was predicting that and awaiting that moment, you know?
Yeah.
And then someone's going to come along and say, hey, this is cultural appropriation. No.
Yeah, that's what it was created for that. It was expected to go throughout the world and for everybody to embrace a culture, because it's a culture, but it's an inner culture. It's an inner culture of understanding that these other cultures are temporary, but there's a spiritual culture that everyone can connect with. And that's what Sanatan Dharma, Bhagavad Dharma is. It's all about finding what's the culture underneath the culture. There's a temporary culture that we have. And then there's an eternal culture. And the eternal culture is, I'm a spiritual soul. I'm disconnected. I want to reconnect. And that's what the Bhagavatam offers. And that's what we practice. And it will resonate with everybody. It will be carried out. And it's not appropriated, because also part of appropriation, which also is so upsetting to hear. It's like, appropriation means you're taking and not giving credit to the source. And you say it's our own thing. No, of course, we're getting it from our teachers who handed it to us, and their teachers handed it to them, and they order us to go and hand it away. Matter of fact, if you want this stuff to work in your own life, you got to give it away to other people.
Right.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. No. You know, and I love reading this kind of stuff, and I'd imagine a lot of what I'm reading is new to a lot of our listeners, but think about it. It's kind of putting you, the listener, in a place in history where you're one of those people, you know, 1,000, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 years from now, people are going to be saying like, there was a time when it was just brand new, where it came out of India and it spread, you know? Before it took over the whole world. You know, we're those people, you know, living in the wake of Srila Prabhupada, and his contribution of single-handedly bringing it to the whole Western world. Let's not relativize his position. Let's understand who he is historically. What to speak of in terms of his special spiritual role, and feel how special it is to be able to serve his servants. Right.
And I think every Vaishnava from every Vaishnava group or lineage can rally behind that.
They should.
Because there's pure devotees. There are pure devotees. But what Prabhupada does, he was just the acharya. He was the Jagat Guru, the guru of the world that broke this out throughout the whole world.
Okay. So this is from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This was published in 1885 in an article that he wrote for a magazine called Sajjana Toshini. And he writes, very soon.
Wait, 1855 he wrote this?
1885.
1885. Okay, this is interesting.
So he says very soon. And I mean, historically, yeah, it's soon. Like it happened about 80 years later. But very soon, the unparalleled path of Harinam Sankirtan, you know, that's the chanting of the Mahamantra, will be propagated all over the world. Oh, for that day when the fortunate English, French, Russian, German, and American people will take up banners, mridangas, and cartels and raise kirtan through their streets and towns. When will that day come?
Wow. That's great. Isn't that great?
That's awesome. In a later article published in 1895, so this is 10 years later,
10 years later,
Sriman Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya, did not descend with his associates to deliver a certain number of human beings in the land of India, but rather his purpose was to deliver and uplift all living beings in all countries of the world by practicing the eternal dharma of all souls.
Wow.
Okay, that's Bhakti. Wow. Bhakti, yeah. In his book Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, His Life and Precepts, he made another similar prophecy. He writes, "The principle of kirtan as the future church of the world."
I like that. The future church of the world. Okay. You know, there's a lot of beautiful churches that are just like nothing happens in them. They've almost become museums. Let's just have kirtan and all these giant. We'll keep the churches. We're not going to tear them down. Like some people are like, well, that's not my religion. I'm going to crush it to rubble. No, use it. Have big kirtans in these churches.
All right. We're just getting excited.
I'm getting very excited, my friend.
Okay. I hope Kim is feeling better.
Sleep in Saturday means I have a very strong sadhana this morning, and I feel good, Prabhu. I'm feeling good about
life.
Have
a few waffles and go out there with the mridanga.
I'm off grains for the next month. Boom. Those aren't my waffles. Those are Tarun's waffles.
Okay.
Can you make me a grainless waffle, Mara? What can we make? Grain.
They have some stuff like that. Buckwheat waffle. Okay, here we go. This is, again, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the great Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
But if you don't know Bhaktivinoda Thakur, incredible poet, songwriter, visionary, prolific writer. You know, in the material realm, he was like a high court judge in Calcutta, had 10 children, incredible devotees. His son, his youngest son, became the guru of Prabhupada, who's our grandfather guru.
That's right. So he's our great grandfather guru.
Great grandfather. Great.
Okay, here we go. In his book Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, His Life and Precepts, Bhaktivinoda Thakur made a similar prophecy. He says the principle of kirtana as the future church of the world invites all classes of men and women without distinction of caste, creed, or clan to the highest cultivation of spirit. This church will extend all over the world and take the place of all sectarian churches, which exclude outsiders from the precincts of their mosque, church, or temple.
Right. Everyone's welcome.
So he's saying this spiritual movement would just take over all the religious movements, in a sense. That's his prediction. And he's gotten the first predictions right. So
yeah.
Okay.
And basically it is a wide gate. It's an open gate. We're very welcoming.
Gate. Yeah.
Even some temples in India are not so welcoming.
They can be very closed.
Yeah. What to speak of? Yeah. And we all come together on some common ground. What the world needs more now, Prabhu, is to look for the commonality instead of the different. We train ourselves to find the differences in people, places, organizations, relationships. Oh, this is why we'll never get, this is why our relationship cannot work because, I'm just too different. What about cultivate the commonality? Notice and cultivate the commonality.
Commonality.
Like
okay. Now, why don't I close this up here by reading 4 different quotations from the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, which is the focus of our podcast.
Okay. What does the Bhagavatam say about Kali-yuga?
This is Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. And this is a very famous verse. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. This is a prediction of the coming of Sri Chaitanya, who had golden complexion. Krishna is the golden
pretty cool verse, isn't it? This is one of the cool. This is the tattoo. You want a tattoo? Thinking about tattoos, right? Don't get the sailor. Don't get the heart. Don't get the what else do people get?
Professor Snooki, this one's for you.
Professor Snooki's thinking about a tattoo.
Back piece.
This is your back piece.
In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. That's Sri Chaitanya. Weapons there meaning like the instruments in kirtan.
That's the weapon.
Okay, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.36, so a few verses later.
Again, so this is thousands of years ago.
Yes.
Thousands of years ago. According to the Bhagavatam
Yes,
itself,
indeed.
this is thousands of years old. Okay.
Those who are actually advanced in knowledge are able to appreciate the essential value of this age of Kali. Such enlightened persons worship Kali-yuga because in this fallen age, all perfection of life can easily be achieved by this performance of Sankirtan. So although it's got so many bad things going for it, it's got this special benediction that you don't have to be a great, powerful yogi. You don't need to be able to do all kind of fancy ritual. You just by chanting this name, right? One can
Some people are
transform entirely.
confused. Like, well, what do you mean? I mean, you're all qualified. We're a bunch of broken, dented cans growing up on crazy American culture, American TV, American high school, American proms, all the crazy stuff we did. Guess what? There's hope for you, Professor Snooky. Whatever you're thinking of out there, there's hope for you, Joshua. There's hope for you, Saraswati and Brenda Sundari Radha and Mikey Prema. There's hope for everybody out there. We're dented. We're broken. We're the misfit toys, the misfit toy bin. And guess what? It's the potency is in this holy name. And it's so transformational. And it's the special gift of Kali-yuga. In Kali-yuga, it has no good qualities, but this one good quality. You get some secret pass, some secret card, some golden ticket here in Kali-yuga, and that's the Sankirtan Yagya, or the sacrifice of chanting the holy name, the information on how to do it, how to apply it in this completely chaotic world. Thank you.
Mic drop. Maybe I could pull up some other stuff. I think we could do the whole show on this question because it's kind of going that way.
Mm-hmm.
But later on, we can pull up the very end of the Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Which we may get to in another 4 years or something like that. But there it's.
And what do we do with our life?
Start it again. Okay.
We won't tell anybody what we're going to do next. Just let's let them hang on for 4 more minutes.
Those who are actually advanced in knowledge are able to appreciate the essential value of this age of Kali. Such enlightened persons worship Kali-yuga because in this fallen age, all perfection of life can easily be achieved. Easily. Not again, by saying that, it's directly speaking, it's contrasting it with, say, the yoga of Satya Yuga, which was like deep, silent, internal meditation, or of other yugas, like, for instance, where ritual was the method and it would require precise, exact, elaborate ritual. No, in this age, because we're so fallen, because we're so dented, because our minds are so distracted and so disturbed, there's a gift in this age. And therefore it's saying, hey, this is better than, even though it's the worst, it's the best. That's our thing here, right?
You know what? It's like,
how they have
Black Friday where it's like everything is on sale, but it's all junk. You go to Best Buy, you go to Walmart. This is like Golden Friday. It's like everything is here. All the sales from all the years, from all the ages. It's today. It's happening right now. This is what's going on in Kali-yuga. It's Golden Friday.
When it's bad, it's good.
When it's bad, it's really good. It's the best.
Such enlightened persons worship Kali-yuga because in this fallen age, all perfection of life can easily be achieved by the performance of Sankirtana. Getting together, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur was talking about, right? Getting together, setting aside all religious, racial, ethnic, national divisions, and just chanting these mantras together and watching the atmosphere change. If we can get enough momentum behind this Sankirtan movement, we can change the effect. It's saying that it's going to happen. The predictions are that we can be the ones to play a small role in it, right? And that's
just like the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna's telling Arjuna. This is thousands of years ago. Krishna's telling Arjuna, it's already happening. Do you understand? All the people on the other side are already dead. You just have to choose if you want to serve me or not. Yeah. So this is all going on. The Bhagavatam itself is it's a story of the past. It's a story of the present. And it's a story of the future. It's all unfolding. Do we want to choose to serve Krishna or just put our hands up and say, just let this whole thing unfold? We have an opportunity right now. And this goes right to Kim's question, like, what do I do in this crazy Kali-yuga? It's getting stressful. It's getting overwhelming. People are filled with anxiety. There's illness. There's wars. You worship Kali-yuga because it's Golden Friday. It's the golden age that we're in.
Golden Friday.
It's Golden Friday.
Okay. She asked, is it just something that we must endure while staying focused on our own spiritual practice, or is it possible that the conflict will diminish as the tradition spreads? Well, that's it right there. We can be part of the spreading of the tradition and countering it.
Sure. Let me use a simple example.
Right.
Food, the food industry. Isn't it horrible that you didn't say those two words together? The food industry. When we were growing up, it was disgusting what they were doing to what they still presently do. Factory farms, all growth hormones in the meats, all types of horrible injections in these poor animals. Then, for example, Prabhupada was an animal rights activist. When Prabhupada came, he spoke about the eternality of the soul and how the soul is in every living entity. And then he would sit and he would sing. That philosophy mixed with the kirtan revolutionized to where we are now, where like the milk industry and the meat industry can barely keep their heads, out of the red without going completely underwater because people are just like over it. People are just like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I don't want to contribute to this anymore. They need subsidies to stay alive. And it wasn't because he was an animal rights activist. It's because he was making the main thing the main thing. You keep focusing on your own purification that will emanate out of your pores, right? Prabhupada's whole lifetime, a lifetime in preparation. His whole life was a lifetime in preparation. And it wasn't for animal rights. It wasn't for peace in humanity. It wasn't for getting rid of anxiety. It was for, how do I recognize I'm a spirit soul and I'm here to serve God? That principle, when you work on yourself, it has a massive ripple effect on everybody in your universe. And you say, well, I don't have a big universe. You do. There's people that are influenced by you. And it might not be that big, but then there's some people that are going to have a bigger effect in a bigger universe. And that's where the real change takes place. You're not going to iron out every problem that you have no influence over, but we can influence ourselves. We can influence ourselves. We can change, and that's going to radically change everybody around us. And we are going to be like an explosion of light and joy and love wherever we go.
Right.
No, yeah.
Okay, let's continue. There's a couple more.
We're still going? Okay.
Yeah. Next verse. Indeed, there is no higher possible gain for the embodied souls forced to wander throughout the material world than the Supreme Lord's Sankirtan movement, by which one can attain the supreme peace and free oneself from the cycle of repeated birth and death.
What's this from?
And then, these are verses all in a row from the 11th canto. And then finally, this is Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5, 38 through 40. My dear king, I assume this is Sukadeva Goswami speaking to Maharaj Pariksit. My dear king, the inhabitants of Satya-yuga, the golden, the pure age, right? Not the Kali-yuga, the Satya-yuga, where everyone had a peaceful mind.
Yeah.
The inhabitants of Satya-yuga, my dear king, the inhabitants of Satya-yuga and other ages eagerly desire to take birth in this age of Kali. Since in this age...
That is pretty amazing. They want to take birth now.
Yeah, since in this age there will be many devotees of the Supreme Lord Narayan. These devotees will appear in various places, but will be especially numerous in South India.
What?
O Master of Men, the age of...
Does it say South India?
It says that, yes. It's going to say, just listen... This is all prediction, right? That these pure devotees are going to rise out of South. I mean, you look at you look at the Chaupati temple. All those brahmacharis are like all come out of South Indian families, These devotees will appear in various places, but will be especially numerous in South India. O Master of Men, in the age of Kali, those persons who drink the waters of the holy rivers of Dravida Desh, such as the Tamraparni, Kritamala, Pashavini, the extremely pious Kaveri, and the Praktichi, Mahanandi. So these are rivers in South India. Will almost all be pure-hearted devotees of the Supreme Godhead Vasudeva.
Wow.
So what this is saying is that I get it. Raghunath and I call us starry-eyed, sentimental, blind believers, but this is what we've believed ever since we started practicing this. That this Sankirtan movement, that hearing Bhagavatam, that Mahamantra and Kirtan, that these practices can change the world and will. And so when we took this up, we took it up as like activists, right? It wasn't like we were trying to run away from the world. Yes, the idea was that you go deep within the self, but that through it, you can change the world. And all these predictions are saying that just give it a little time, that Prabhupada started some momentum going, a momentum of a movement that's based on pure bhakti, not karma, not being pious to get good things in the world, not jnana, not renouncing the things of this world for one's own liberation, but just serving God with love. That principle is so powerful that it transforms minds and it transforms hearts, and it is destined to sweep the world. Sure. I'm convinced that bhakti is destined to become more and more and more popular. And as it does, people are being born back. People are practicing bhakti now and being born back into families that practice bhakti and coming out like stronger and stronger. And you give it 1 generation, 2 generations, 3 generations more, and you're going to just have so many powerful, influential speakers. And all these people are speaking all this idiotic stuff, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on the television or whatever it is. It's going to get overpowered by clarity, clear thinking, pure thinking, and coming with a pure heart, not in a nasty way, but like in a pure way. And the world can change like that.
We see newer generations of these young minds that are very, very crystal clear, and the world's going to start to. It's going to start to drift away. It's going to start to polarize. And there's going to be people who are just like, I cannot take the material world anymore. And they're going to have to opt in. And then there are these people practicing bhakti, like you said, they're going to just take birth again. It's going to be more and more refined. And in bhakti, we just don't want to get released from prison. We want to get released and we want to have relationships, not just relationships with Krishna, but relationships with people in this world where we are like messengers of good, messengers of light, messengers of truth, messengers of practical ways to live, to be in this world, but not of this crazy world.
Yeah.
We didn't get off this one question today, but you know what? It was a good question.
Good question. Thank you,
Mara.
Kim.
Thank you, Kim, from Rhode Island. Love you. We miss you.
Oh, hey, but hey, I got something to say. Stop the music.
Hit the brakes.
Thank you. Genevieve can't make it tomorrow. Genevieve can't make it tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, she's
take a day off because I'm going to stay at my mom's tonight.
Okay.
Take the day off tomorrow.
So you're not going to stay at my place?
I don't know yet.
Well, we got to figure that out now.
Well, not on the show, though.
No, not on the show.
Not on the show. We'll figure
okay,
it out.
so tomorrow's the day off. We're back on Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern time?
Monday, 6 a.m. We're ready. Monday, 6 a.m. Krishna consciousness for everyone. Let's do this. Okay, Kastuba. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Facebook people, thank you. Do this every day. Join us wherever you get podcasts or YouTube. Remember to like them, to follow us, to comment on them. And most of all, share this with people that you love. Share it with people you don't love. Share it with people you sort of can't tolerate. Maybe it'll be good for them. Maybe they'll like it. Maybe they need it right now.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, we're going to get worked up.
Thanks, everybody. This is the time we dance and we sing. Welcome to all the new people join us on Zoom today, like Ananga and Kim Carroll. And who else is here to say hello to? Case too. Thank you for all your service. Little Frankie, I see you. Surya Radhika, Harry Ball to you.
Hey, Surya Radhika.
Surya Radhika. And Lev, Harry Ball Lev. Paramananda Prabhu.
Tara and I were talking about Lev today.
Who was talking about Lev?
Tara and I.
About Lev. All right. I like Lev.
Lev's in one of Tara's seed groups.
Lev's good. Lev's the man.
Good man. Good dog, Chester.
Chester's a good dog, too. Laura Marco's here. Hey, Bo, Laura. Trap Down Under. Go for Don Lal. Don Caleb. Pamela Garland. Danny Kozakowski. Harry Bo.
Whatever happened to the Jolly Llama spinning around?
The Jolly Llama.
Oh, hey, Professor Snooky's asking about the holiday extravaganza that we inaugurated as an annual event last year.
That could be cool.
Are you still around?
Oh, I got to find out. Well, you can't be there.
I can't be there this year. Sorry.
You should have a Super Bowl. So New York is sort of central, all our peeps. Yeah. Anyway,
maybe you could do it on your way out.
We'll see you Monday, Prabhu. But you and I will talk.
Right.
It's a beautiful day. Every beautiful day.
We're gonna talk. You, me, we're gonna talk.
Let the magic continue to flow. Howdy, Bo!